Hey, welcome to the From the Scriptwriter's Table. I want to talk to you about why you should write audio plays. First off, I'm president of Winding Trails Media, David Lucas. Nice to meet you. Hey, like you, I'm a writer, and I've written multiple different genres, but writing audio plays is, I find, to be one of the easiest and one of the hardest things to ever write. Why bother? Well, because the old is new again. The golden age of radio, which happened back right before television came out, 1920s to really 1950s to 60s. I'm stretching it beyond the official dates because a lot of the old radio shows became television shows. And in the case of one, which was Gunsmoke, I know of, ran both on television and on the radio simultaneously, and often shared scripts back and forth. Back to writing the audio play. It's one of the easiest. It's one of the hardest genres to write, or one of the hardest formats to write, because you're writing for the ear. You're not writing for the eye like television. You're not so much writing like you do in a short story. In writing audio plays, that's the modern version of a radio play, you're actually painting on the theater of the mind. That's kind of a term that's always been used for radio plays, and really is. I would suggest, if you have any interest or you're curious about it, go on YouTube. You can find some old radio dramas that are downloaded. If you have Sirius or XM radio, they have old-time radio dramas. I want to say on 168. They keep changing channels, so I've lost track. I just have it on my favorites list. But those are some great places to look for it. Also, too, find Winding Trails Media on Facebook, and ever so often I'm sharing old-time radio dramas to prepare an audience for what's coming. Now, I'm talking to writers here. If you are a listener who likes radio dramas, you're going to want to see a different video that I'm producing. It should come out, actually, starting Sunday, May 15th. So, back to writers. Old is new again. Easy to write, hard to write. There's one last reason to write for audio plays, and that is podcasts on demand. You can take a podcast almost anywhere. That's been the trend since Apple came out with iTunes, which, don't care if you like Apple or don't like Apple. If you're into podcasts, you have to thank them. They help push podcasts out there. They still do. And Forbes Business Magazine is predicting, I believe this was a 2014 article, that podcasts would be able to be played in cars. And I don't mean you download it on your phone or your iPod or your iPad or Samsung Pad or whatever. It means download it and listen to in the car like you would turn on a radio station. Most modern day people are starting to cut cables. They're starting to cut the cable companies off. They're starting to cut the satellite companies off. And because they've gone to a position, thanks to Hulu, thanks to Netflix, and others out, Amazon Prime, instead of having to schedule yourself around the media, television, ABC, CBS, NBC, keep producing anyway, but instead of centered around that, now they're starting to want to binge watch. They want to watch their shows when they want to watch them, have them available. Same thing with podcasts. So I'm going to end this here. And tomorrow I'm going to talk about the trio that comes to audio plays. And this helps separate out the audio play format from writing a novel, writing a short story, an article, a stage play. Because an audio play is not a straight copy-paste out any of those formats. It is its own animal. Even different from teleplays for television or movies. Now, before I go, I want to share a couple of things. If you go to windingtrailsmedia.com, www.windingtrailsmedia.com. I'm going to ask you for a few things. One, every month we're going to hold a think tank or a mastermind group on writing audio plays and just writing, period. It is called the Script Writers Table. If you go into the courses for writers on the website, click on it. It is absolutely free, but seating is limited or participation is limited. Click on it, it will take you to PayPal. It won't charge you. If it does charge you, let me know. Email me at president@windingtrailsmedia.com, and I'll take a look at what's going on. It should not. It's just making sure that the course does not get overpopulated, because I don't want 60 people signing up and I've got 10 people mad at me. Okay, next. Back to that story briefly. What that's going to do is everybody who attends should have something they're working on. Doesn't matter if it's an audio play or not. Why could it be an audio play? But it doesn't matter if it's an audio play or not. Bring it, and what we're going to do is not critique it, but if you have problems, like you're trying to figure out how to explain a situation or a character or something's got you stuck in the story and you can't get past it, the idea is to bounce it off other writers and who probably have never heard your work and see if they can give you feedback back and forth. I'm not going to say that the feedback's going to work. Maybe it won't, but it's going to get you started thinking and get you past the issues. Okay. Number 2, there's on every single page a chance to sign up for the newsletter for Winding Trails Media. It's called the Winding Trails Media Program. It's a once-a-month newsletter that will go out about the audio plays that are coming, open calls for scripts, open calls for cast, events going on for Write Pack Radio, which, by the way, that is a podcast for writers by writers. Please tune in. You can find it on YouTube, Blog Talk Radio, iTunes, and lots of other platforms. So that's going to brief you on what's coming up on Winding Trails Theater, which is the anthology that is all about audio plays. We're starting to accept scripts, which is the next part. If you go to the website, I'm going to repeat it again, www.windingtrailsmedia.com, you will be able to see that we are right now open for scripts. It will tell you how to pitch a script. You do not have to have your script finished at this time. If you just have an idea for a script, go ahead and pitch it to me. I'll tell you whether or not we're going to produce it or not, if it's interesting. If it's interesting, I'm going to request a full script. If you don't have one, tell me that in the pitch. If you do have one full script, tell me that in the pitch as well. Do not send me a script without pitching first. Just point blank, I'm not going to just accept that. We will get back to you ASAP. Right now I'm running about 2 weeks before getting back, because I really want to think about each script that I get to see. It is a script of any genre, except for erotica, not because I'm against it, but if you look at our script call page, there are certain requirements, and those requirements are being handed down to us by the platforms we produce on. So basically, I'm just going to tell you PG to PG-13 at the worst. Any genre open. I am looking for stories that talk about the human experience. We are Winding Trails Media. We are new. We are going back into the old time radio dramas, the new ones though. Ones that are coming out of your head. So please feel free to submit. Tune in tomorrow. I'm going to talk about what's called the trio. I'll tell you about that more tomorrow. And thank you for listening. Have a great day writing.